Hello, English 11 students, and welcome to week 1, day 1 of the second quarter. Please open the assignment you see on the screen. It says English 11 Quarter 2 Syllabus Quiz. As always, everything you say, do, or type is recorded, so remember to keep it school appropriate, and there's no saving, downloading, or taking pictures of our class today or ever. Our agenda for the day. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take the syllabus walkthrough quiz, where you're going to watch a video that goes over the quarter 2 syllabus and then answer 4 quiz questions. They're multiple choice. That should take you about 10 minutes or so to complete. Once you're finished with that, just go ahead and submit it. I'm going to talk to you in this video about changes to the weekly assignments. That'll take about 5 minutes. Introduce the notebook time assignments, which will be about another 5-minute introduction, and then basically the rest of the class period we use to complete the first notebook time activity, which you had 30 minutes to do, but many students completed it beforehand. All right, so first let's talk about your quiz. If you go to the English 11 homepage, click on this week's dates. Again, you'll see that item that says English 11 Quarter 2 Syllabus Quiz under week 1, day 1. Once you open that, you'll see that there's a video that you watch. It takes about 5 minutes to watch, and then answer the 4 questions that are underneath the video. You could always go back and rewatch parts of the video if you're unsure of an answer. Please make sure you're listening carefully to the video as well, so you get all the correct answers. All right. Once that was done, I asked students if they had any questions. If you have any questions about the second quarter syllabus, please send me an email and I'll address them as quickly as I can. All right, let's talk about the changes to the weekly assignments, right? And I want to point out that it's a good thing, right? First, we are keeping the deadlines of 3 p.m. on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So again, if we have class on Monday, the deadline is 3 p.m. on Wednesday. If we have class on Thursday or Friday, the deadline is 3 p.m. on Saturday. Okay, that helps accommodate students who need that extended time. In addition to that, if you can complete and submit the day's assignment by the end of the period twice in a row, you will be excused from the next week's practice and prep assignment. Let's take a look at what that would look like. So for example, if you remember, the first assignment that I gave to you when we did the narrative assignment was this narrative proposal, and that was a practice and prep assignment. If you completed that, the next assignment that came up was the narrative outline. That was an all-task assignment. If we were to go back in time and do this, right? If you complete the first assignment and turn it in before the end of the period, and you complete the second assignment for the week and turn it in by the end of the period, then the next week's assignment, that was a practice and prep assignment, you would not have to complete to get a grade. You would still attend the breakout room in the lesson, and you would still work on the assignment, but you would be guaranteed a grade of 100% or excused from that assignment. If you have questions about this, please let me know. Again, you can send me an email. I'm going to be talking about this a lot over the next couple of days to make sure that students understand that we need you to be engaged during our live Zoom sessions, right? And want to incentivize that so that you can do better this quarter than you did last quarter. So let's get started. First, if you go to the English 11 homepage and you click on this week's dates again, you'll see that there's an item that says Week 1 Notebook Time Assignment. Go ahead and open that assignment in a new window. Because our class takes up a lot more time because I'm explaining things, if you can turn today's assignment in by 3 p.m. today, it'll still count towards your exemption. Again, normally it would be the end of the period, but because I'm explaining a lot of stuff, I made an extension for that possibility, that opportunity. So let's talk about notebook time. So what is it? Well, it's 5 to 7 minutes of risk-free free writing on day 1 of every week in quarter 2. Okay, so the first 5 to 7 minutes of class on day 1 of each week, you'll do a free write. Why are we doing it? This gives you exposure to writing and information in the real world. It also helps create a writing routine and a culture, something you can get used to doing every day when we're in class together, and it'll improve your student writing fluency and build your writing muscles. How will it work? You will be prompted by either a question, a poem, some kind of sentence structure mini lesson, a piece of data, or an image. What you'll do is first you'll just write a free write. And then again, that's when you just type everything and anything that comes to mind. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to worry about spelling or capitalization. You just write down all of your ideas. Then there will be a mini lesson or an activity on that first day. Once that activity is over, you'll be asked to kind of go back and look at your free write and revise it in a specific way. So if you take a look at the example for this week, right? The directions say select one question to respond to in the chart below and highlight it. Free write for 5 minutes in the free write box, which is here. Okay. Then after you do that, you're going to turn your free writing into a short 8 to 10 line poem, highlighting your most important thoughts. Okay. And as always, if you need an example, there's always a hyperlink that'll show you that. And I'll show you the example in just a second. But if you remember from the syllabus quiz, one of our core questions was this: to what extent does education influence one's place in American culture? Okay. So what I did was I took that core question and I broke it down into 3 kind of like sub questions. You don't have to answer all 3. You just pick one. Pick whichever one seems the easiest or most interesting for you to write about, something that you could write about for 5 minutes, okay? Highlight it here, and then write your free write here. If you take a look at the sample, right, I chose the third one to respond to, right? How does pursuing higher education, like graduating high school, going to college, or earning a degree or getting a license in a particular field, etc., how does those things make someone more American than someone who does not pursue a higher education? Okay. And so what I did, again, because I wanted to kind of get all my thoughts out and I didn't want to have to worry about stuff, is I used that voice texting option, right? You go to tools and you look for voice typing in the menu. That way, when I wanted to, I just hit the button, it recorded what I was saying and typed it out for me. Okay. So this is as far as I got in my 5 minutes. It's not, it's just my thoughts. Okay. Then when I was done with that, right, it's now your turn to do that, right? And I'm not going to start this timer here. You can pause the video and start your own timer, right? But just do 5 minutes to respond to whichever one of these questions would be the easiest and most interesting for you to respond to. The first question is, how are people considered more or less American based on their education level? The second option is, what is one test not given in school that people have to quote unquote pass in order to be accepted as American, right? How are people kind of tested every single day, not necessarily in a classroom, right? And how does that relate to being American? Or you could choose the same option that I did, right? How does pursuing higher education make someone more American than someone who does not pursue a higher education? So choose one of those 3 and write your free response now. Again, you can use the voice typing to get your thoughts down quickly. The idea is to just get as much in this response free write box as possible. Go ahead and pause this video here, start your 5-minute timer, do your free write, and then resume when you're ready. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. Now that you've done your free write, right, the next part of the directions at the top, it says, then turn your free write into a short 8 to 10 line poem. Turn your free write into a short 8 to 10 line poem, highlighting your most important thoughts. Okay. And so for me, this was my poem, right? And all I did to go back to my sample, right? All I did was I took what I thought were my most important ideas here, right? Which were kind of random. And I just tried to put them in some sort of an order, right? And I made them look like a poem. As far as writing this poem is concerned, right, it doesn't have to rhyme and it doesn't have to be good. It just has to be a poem. If you look at mine, right, if I'll just read these 2 stanzas, right, it's strange, oh, but it's totally true. The dude, that should say dude. The dude with the PhD is more American than you. If you are well educated, then people basically leave you alone. If you can't speak English a certain way, then all of a sudden people start looking at you like you are not as American as them, right? This is me writing my poem, and I'm not going to keep going, But if you notice, like I rhymed up here, but then it was harder for me to rhyme down here. So I just didn't do it. Okay. What I want you to do is just dedicate one thought or idea per stanza, right? See how this is like one stanza, or if you want to call it like the paragraph of poetry, this is another thought. So I made it its own separate thing. Okay. And then use the punctuation to add dramatic effect, right? Use those question marks to ask questions. If you really want me to pause and think about something, right, you can do something like this, instant American, comma, and then start a new line. But the kid who gets a job, etc. Okay. If you need to see a sample, again, and this is here, but if you wanted to hear me reading through my poem, right, when you click on the hyperlink for the sample, there's a video link. You don't really need to do that if it's not really all that necessary, but you might get a better idea of what it is I'm looking for. Again, I'm not looking for the greatest poem in the world. I'm just looking for you to do something with your free write and turn it into a different type of writing, which this week is a poem. Go ahead and pause the video here and accomplish that now. Okay. Now, again, the last thing that I wanted to go over, right, is you should turn in that notebook time assignment. Make sure that you turn it in before 3 o'clock today so that you can start working towards that assignment exemption, right? The next opportunity will be on day 2 of this week. If you are in period 6, the deadline is 3 p.m. on Wednesday. If you're in period 3, the deadline is 3 p.m. on Thursday. Excuse me, if you are in second period, the deadline is 3 p.m. on Thursday. And that's because we have a weird schedule this week because we had Monday off. If you need help with this, please come and attend the student support from 2:45 to 3:15. And again, just like it said in the quiz, student support has not changed, okay, every single day. And this week, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, okay? Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in class soon.